Okay, I'm live. Hello, this is August 2026. Have New X's monthly live stream of August 2026. Hope it's working. If you are around there, let me know. I have 0 viewers right now, so I have no idea if it's working. The chat is not working again. I hate this on my software. Let me just quickly get it to work. No? Yes? No? Confusing. Oh, hello. Hi. Okay, I wonder if I could see it on OBS. Okay, I can. Thank you. I do it once. Hi, I do it once a month. So this is what happens every time. Something is off from compared to last time. Love the live streaming thing. Hello. So yeah, if you call me leader, then you're from my guild. Are you using the same name though? Probably on YouTube and in game you're different named. So I'm not sure who you are. But hello from everywhere. Hello from Italy. Hello from Greece. Hi. We made it another month, hey? Living on this planet. How's everything going? For most people on this half of the planet, should be end of summer now. It has been very chill and nice where I am. Another normal summer, I'd say, for Winnipeg. Nothing too over the top. Actually, not very hot either, compared to a couple of other years. I think this one is actually mild. Oh, it's Xiao. Okay, we do have like 2 Xiaos, I think. One is with pinyin, the other with Chinese character. So which one are you? Big family. From airport, oh, flying out, flying in, going somewhere on holiday. Oh, Nim, hi. Oh yeah, Nim is very cool. I used to actually, I think, have years and years ago when I was in England, I used to speak complete British accent. When I first got to Canada, I speak like a British person, and all my teachers and classmates were like, "Are you from England?" I'm like, kind of got imprinted. But the thing is, after you've lived in Canada for some years, you kind of let it go. Your brain is I don't care about what accent it is, as long as it people understand this English is fine. So right now it's who knows what I'm speaking in. There was a time though, because I think I was just a high schooler in China, and then I went straight to England for 4 years. So that was where I kind of started using English as the study language. And so initially I was very, very British. I would sound like a British person. That's years ago. So when I hear very British accent, I feel like a weird level of familiarity. It's very odd. It's not even my mother tongue. Okay, so somebody asked me about game stuff. Obviously, these days, because I play games, I definitely follow all game newses, and also because ever since Black Myth Wukong, right, Chinese games have kind of gone, right? It's suddenly the oil is drilled, and then it all spilled over everywhere. So this year, a few days ago, was it 2 days ago, right, in Germany, there were half of the trailers that were displayed during the game comms opening night were coming from China. I was like, when did we get that many games out there? I mean, it always has been online games always had a lot Tencent NetEase, all those like in the background, but these days it's like definitely branching out. So gaming stuff is very, 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 very relevant, and a lot of news and buzz these days. A lot to look forward to in the next few years. If people care to know, I'll let you know what are the games I'm looking forward to. C-drama, on the other hand, is like barely kicking, right? It really is almost like a dead fish situation. It is bad, okay? If last year was bad, this year was like historically, epically, humongously bad. This is like beyond your expectation. And it happened right after Chinese New Year. So before Chinese New Year and after Chinese New Year, C-Dramaland went through a kind of like cliff jump. It was pretty epic. In terms of suddenly nothing exists. Suddenly no dramas are being made. Like at levels you wouldn't believe. Like it doesn't read like real number, but it's real. So give you a very, very brief recap of like what's going on in Chinese dramaland. Ever since the end of Chinese New Year this year, first, long drama has always been like dying, right? Like for the last few years, it just keeps dying, and it's like steadily just getting less and less projects being made and stuff. Even top tier actors don't get jobs and offers. But the most epic switch that has happened was actually to short dramas. For the last, since I say 23, 24, 25, right? Like short dramas, vertical screens, those like short drama dedicated web, you know, like a phone apps were growing really fast. And up until Chinese New Year this year, right? Many dramas are being made and still being made, and suddenly after Chinese New Year, I'll tell you why. Nobody's making short dramas. About 80% to 90% compared to last year's like opening in terms of how many dramas are made, right? It suddenly got reduced by 80 to 90%. So right now there's only 10 to 20% in terms of quantity of short dramas that are being made and shot right now in China ever since Chinese New Year compared to last year same time. So basically short drama making suddenly got basically a neck, like everything from neck below got cut off, the whole industry, instantly, once after Chinese New Year. So a lot of short video, like short drama actors lost their jobs. They had to go to find other things too, like literally become a vendor on the street selling stuff, because 80 to 90% of people in this industry lost their jobs overnight. And one of the main reasons that this is happening was before the Chinese New Year, a lot of platforms were actually subsidizing short drama making. So a lot of short dramas, they're shot within 10 days framework. They require about 30 people team, and their budget is very, very small, very controllable small. In maybe like 100K RMB, 300 is already expensive. Sometimes can crash it down to like even smaller, very small budget. So there was a couple of years where all the video platforms, including like the Youku, iQIYI, Tencent, all those, they were literally subsidizing all those smaller crews. You sign up with them, and before you even actually air your drama, you already get the money back. You already get like, because those platforms were trying to trendy, right? They were trying to get the land, they were trying to get the market share. So in the last couple of years, the reason so many short dramas are made is because whether you make money or not does not matter, because you already made your money back before you even started shooting. Therefore, there were so many that are being made every day, and people were like going in this and they're making it looking noisy. But the only reason that was happening is because that whole thing was happening. But right after Chinese New Year this year, all those platforms stopped that. Their contract runs out, and they decided not to continue doing that. All the platforms did it at the same time, which means all those smaller dramas have no guaranteed return now. And suddenly 90% evaporates. That's what's going on with short dramas. So it is like, you know, this is what's been happening to short drama making. On the other hand, it gets challenged by AI drama making. If you go on the like a couple of apps on Chinese like market, which is best known for short videos, like 红果, which is red fruit, like 80 to 90% of the stuff you see are not played by real humans. They're not live action. They're completely done by AI. There could be AI animation, it could be AI like live action, whatever. AI dramas are taking, like, because it's so easy and cheap and fast to make, it is basically like the short dramas were taking the shares of the long dramas, and then immediately they got eaten by AI dramas. Now within AI drama itself, it is also collapsing because too many are made every month. I think for like platforms like those short AI drama apps, they get like over, the last number I've seen is over 40,000 dramas every month. Over 40,000 on one in every month. Like, imagine, even if you only have 400, you want to scroll through 400 dramas list, right? It's gonna take a while. Imagine that's 4,000. Imagine plus that 10 times, 40,000. Who's ever gonna see your drama if you don't have some kind of like front page exposure? Therefore, it becomes another huge competition between those AI dramas in terms of who actually gets pushed to the audiences. Because if you don't get pushed to their front page, they're never gonna find you. So now it is within 4 years, you have this situation in Chinese drama land where long dramas are being killed by short dramas are being killed by AI dramas are killing each other. All happening like at the speed of like every month it's a different market. So most people wouldn't really know all of this, right? And know like, but it would be interesting to find people who work in long dramas, short dramas, AI, all sit down and have a conference and then talk about what the shit is, like what is this shitty situation and how we're gonna deal with it, because it is so unhealthy and so crazy, and it's like the and having a brave new world apocalypse feeling of an industry, right? That is going on and happening in front of your eyes every day with a new plot happening, and that's better than any dramas that people can think of. So what Chinese drama industry is going through absolute mayhem right now. Complete mess. Every well-established actors is on the brink of not getting jobs. All the big production companies, including all the top tier people, right? Everybody this year was like, I have no idea what is going on in this world, and nothing is as we expected, and everything is out of whack. Yeah. Like dramas overall, like human dramas, right? Not AI. Human that needs a camera, needs people to act. All those short, long dramas adding together, the amount of dramas that are being made right now is 70% to 80% less than what is happening last year. And last year was like at least 25 or 30% less than what's happening the year before. And then so basically within like 3-4 years, Chinese dramas have gone to like the production has gone down to this. This is happening in Chinese drama land. Epic, isn't it? That's why I'm saying like maybe one day my channel will no longer exist. At least I won't be talking about dramas, because there literally will be no dramas to talk about. Nothing gets made anymore. They're still obviously airing the stocked up ones that was shot last year, the year before. So you're always gonna get a year or two delay in terms of watcher, right? Audiences market. But still, you know, next year, there'll be significantly fewer dramas to talk about for sure, because not that many are made this year, right? So 27, I can see already my channel is not gonna be talking about so many Chinese dramas, because there won't be that many Chinese dramas airing. Isn't that epic? I know there are a lot of ongoing. I haven't had time to watch all of them, right? So early spring, I haven't had time to watch it. I was watching Cicada, the Trembling. Last night I was trying to catch up with the stuff that's left over with Road to Splendor, and then also the what's 师兄太稳健 posterings. So there are a lot. I personally just don't have that many hours in a day to be able to all just look at dramas, right? I still have to do other things like grocery shopping. So I'm not 100% up to date to everything, but I will try my best to catch up with stuff. it's just quite insane for your brain to comprehend. I am not 100% against AI dramas. I just feel still, even though there are so many AI dramas that are being made, truly great ones are hard to come by. Storytelling is still, at the end of the day, storytelling. If you can tell a story well, having AI or not having AI is not going to make a difference. The other thing is a lot of AIs are not yet at the point where like their face, like the facial generation, can make you feel like it's not odd. I still often get very uncanny valley kind of feeling of watching even like really quite well made ones. Odd is the feeling that you just, and also like overall the aesthetics of AI generated stuff in terms of their music, editing style is still very much it makes you very feeling easily annoyed. It's very noisy, spiky, pokey. It makes you feel like unrest. For most of the AI dramas, it gives you that sense of strong unrest, and I'm not yet like too into that. But I know in a few years' time, right? Maybe even sooner than we think, the technology is gonna get to the point where you can't tell if it's AI or a real person. Like it will be completely impossible for human to distinguish. That will be a different era of stuff. Tangfeng is also airing. I think so. Yes, that one is police drama, right? So a lot of new dramas are happening. Yeah, but personally, the problem for me is there's only that many hours a day, so I can only watch that many, and I'll try to catch as many as possible. Anybody who's watched and give me an idea about what they are and whether they're good. I haven't watched Early Spring. That's Sun Qian and Jin Boran. That one I haven't even tried. But and the Changfeng one I haven't tried. But the other ones I have, at least all of them I have watched a bit, if not right up to date, of what's going on yesterday. ChatGPT does like, don't listen to it. And also top 10 actress. What is your standard of qualified people of being top 10? Is it most well known, like in terms of like national knowability? Is it for their great works? You know, how much money those dramas have made, or how rating have worked, or how many awards they've gotten? Like, what are the criteria to rank the top 10? It's kind of like pointless to say top 10, like by whose standard, right? Is intense. Is that like a little bit like Korean drama, high romance, contemporary setting? I just feel like the vibe looks like that based on the trailer, but it may not be that. Blade of Guardians and Remnant of Gold. Blade of Guardians I don't like. Remnant of Gold I've watched some parts of it. I haven't actually watched it until episode 4, I think. 4. So it's pretty up to date. We can talk about that. Like we can talk about all the dramas I've watched at least right now, one by one today in the videos. I have watched some of it. Might decide on one. After this live stream. Oh, you make me feel like now I'm burdened with picking a good one. Right now, I wouldn't say there's a definitively like this one is better than others. They're kind of all different. So you kind of pick them for different reasons. Yeah, it's very bad. Like the other day I was looking at an interview about a guy who was one of the most unlucky people in terms of investing and losing money immediately after. So last year, because short dramas were still doing very, very well, this guy in Hengdian. Last year actually there was a joke. You know, like I've been to Hengdian and shot videos there. Hengdian is this smaller town city in Zhejiang where most of the palaces were built to film Chinese period dramas. And the name is really funny. The town's name, Hengdian. Heng is horizontal. Dian is shop. Literally. So it's called a horizontal shop. I know. It doesn't quite make sense, not even in Chinese. But anyway, it's called Hengdian. And last year, people joke about that city should change its name to Shudian. Shu is vertical, right? So horizontal Heng, Shu is like vertical. Because so many short dramas that are vertical screened, that are being shot in that place, instead of the traditional horizontally framed dramas of long dramas. They were joking about last year Hengdian should just change its name to Shudian. And during this peak of making short dramas, there was a guy who noticed in Hengdian there are too many period drama palaces, but not enough contemporary settings like banquet venues, villas, like rich people's apartment. There aren't that many enough sets and to rent out to crews. And there were so many short dramas that are contemporary dramas that are being made. So he invested into a project to build a compound that contains everything. Contains like wedding lawns, contains like golf course looking like things, contains like spas, and then like really cool modern looking buildings that will work as super rich, uber rich leads of short dramas, their home, their apartment, their whatever. So he built this whole thing. He hasn't even finished furnishing it. It runs into this year's New Year, runs into all the platform pulling out money from short dramas. He couldn't even finish furnishing that place, and now there's no one to rent. He's invested like tens of millions into building that new set, and it's not even being finished, and now no dramas will be made there because nobody is making short dramas. And that guy completely just destroyed that much money that he invested immediately. Like, and there was like this interview online and just interviewing this guy. And he's saying like this building is not even finished, and that was like it's like filmed now, which is half a year later, right, from Chinese New Year. He's saying basically since Chinese New Year, this building has been looking like this because I haven't even finished furnishing it because there's no point, because nobody is coming in to shoot dramas here. So I don't want to put further money into furnishing this concrete building because no one is coming. But then all the money I've invested in this is like, this is how fast and how crazy things are happening in Chinese drama. Yeah. So, currently dramas, right? 重气 has finished, I think. Road to Splendor kind of finished too. 师兄太稳健 is kind of midpoint postering. The Trembling Cicada has also finished if you pay money. 长风 should just be happening, right? Early spring should just happened like for a week, so it hasn't finished yet. These are kind of what's going on. For me, Road to Splendor, let's first talk about that. 花开锦绣, Deng Enxi and Ding Yuxi. I watched a few more dramas after I made my video. I kind of like dropped off like for a bit. I do know what's going on because there's always like social media pushing me clips about what's going on every day. One problem with this drama as it develops, I think, beyond the point when they go to the northwestern kind of the desert zone, right, the military zone, when the story goes to that stage and moving forward from that point onwards, what starts to happen was I find the writer kind of did something like they may have a strong kind of desire to write a story in their opinion that are very different from typical idol dramas. They have their own ambition, right? And they're putting it on this genre and this particular project without thinking that maybe it's neither the right time for the industry to do this kind of thing for this type of genre of dramas, nor this is particularly the best project to do that. Because one big problem I find with this story is ultimately it's still a romantic love story, and it's two young actors who are basically most of their like the most highly valuable point of picking them as the leads is to make a romantic story where they're always together, right? Yes, they can always have problems, there can be conflict and push and pull that can happen, but they need to be present in their own story most of the time. What happened with this writer is she writes them like in this odd configuration of like for years they're not together. And I'm like, then what are we watching? It's a romantic idol drama. It's not historical, right? Or any type of serious drama when, like it's not a priority. This is still typically an idol romantic drama of trafficked young actors. And people coming in watching this are mostly fans of these two people. Anyway, the thing with Road to Splendor is it's two young people's romantic story set in a period of time. You don't need to go so 恨海晴天, right? You don't have to go to that level where like, why? I was like, you have 40 episodes in, you know, like you just make these two like nod together, like intentionally just keep them apart, and it's just like it never happens, never marries. They just like all the mess that happens and all the things that separate them, right? Like constantly, like I mean, like I love romantic drama. Come on, what are you doing? And I'm like at some point I'm like, I don't know what's the point of keep watching this. It's just like so anti genre, and it's not like in any cool breaking through fresh breeze kind of way, inventive way. It's kind of like I'm coming in for dumplings and you gave me noodles, you know? Sorry, noodles. It definitely is not intentional, Gauntlet players, okay? I just ended up using that. For my guild people, you'll know the joke. Anyway, it was like, why am I watching this, right? And I just find it's very mismatching for this type of story to happen in this genre of stories. And Ding Yuxi doesn't help. And the other thing is Ding Yuxi really doesn't help. His super self-consciousness of like he is in front of a camera, he needs to look good all the time, like that kind of 晋江式表演, right? He's like a very wet novel male lead kind of like vibe and acting. I'm like, stop it, it's overkilling it. And then it's like in every second he's got like 8 different like expressions of his eyebrows. Like I'm like, stop doing that. I can't watch that kind of performance. It's worse than AI sometimes. So Ding Yuxi didn't help. The fact that like I'm in for a romantic drama of 2 people get together and then they help each other and get out of like the mess they're in and, you know, move forward. Not like, hello, goodbye, like for years. Like what the heck? And anyway, that drama gradually lost me. And I'm like I just don't need this heavy lesson of politics and whatever in an idol drama of this kind, right? I mean, even Swords into Plowshares cannot really do politics that well. It is just the overall writing level and also just the market type of thing. Right now going on in Chinese dramas, it's not ready for properly really complicatedly well-made period dramas, really. If you try to do anything more than, you know, like what you are made, like what you can do, it just overreaches too much and then it falls off the cliff. For me, it's a pity Road to Splendor. I think after the whole sort of like separate thing, it just, I'm like, I'm not here to watch that. I'm not here to watch that. Sorry, this is not what this genre is meant to do, and I left. 重气, I've watched most of it. And also it's a little bit insane as it moves towards the end. The law people drama. I'm like, really? Do you have to push it to that over the top limit of like people just I don't know. By the time the car crash happens, I'm like, okay, I've had enough too. Can we just have a normal drama, like in a way, like it's not like so hyped up and melodramatic, and like in ways unnecessarily killing characters so that it looks like dramatic, just so. Although it's not bad, I still say it's overall like a pretty well-made drama. It's just I feel a lot of those so-called serious proper dramas these days are also experience the dilemma of they want to look proper and better and more serious and like more old school than the sort of like fashion, like the young actor, traffic actor world, idol drama world. They think those things are, yeah, they're not art, right? They're just fast food. But on the other hand, they're kind of like jealous of whatever like traffic, right? Super sort of like melodramatic dramas can get. So they're trying to like sort of get both at the same time, and it tends to backfire. So the Huang Jingyu one also, as it moves towards the end, I think it's kind of like over the top, particularly like the last bit. I'm like, oh, do you really need to go to that level? It's not bad. It's just I don't know. Not a huge fan of what they do with the characters towards the end. 师兄太稳健 pull strings. This is overall actually the least painful drama of the current ongoing ones. I haven't watched Given. I haven't watched the Early Spring, right? And then the police drama, I haven't touched these two, so I don't know if they're good in any way. I'm just saying with the ones I have watched, Pull String is overall actually a better one because it doesn't burden you in any way. It doesn't frustrate you in any way. It actually entertains you. Yeah. Even though it's like nothing great, it's not like shockingly good entertainment, no, but at least you're like, it's cute. So most of the time it's like, ha ha ha, it's cute. You can kind of like having that feeling of, I know this is not the greatest thing out there, right? I can leave this drama and not feeling really I've lost much, but when I'm watching it, I don't feel like, why am I doing this? What's the point? This complete waste of my life. You wouldn't feel that. You would actually go, okay, didn't see that coming. Oh, didn't see that coming. What? You can go that way? Seriously? This is idol fantasy drama? Like, hold on. They do things that completely are kind of out of your expectation of the genre standard in everything, pretty much. So like, that's the great thing about postering is it's very relaxed to itself, to the genre too. And it's not trying to, it's like the male lead, right? Who's not trying to be the greatest whatever warrior in this world at all. He's literally trying to like, can I just survive this? If there's a way to cheat the system, if I know, right, it's heading towards a big, like, it's a train running towards a wall, how can I jump over it? All he's trying to do is trying to survive and be low-key. So his motivation is actually very different from the traditional kind of like male lead of an immortal ascension drama, right? And it's very unexpected because his setup as a human, like, contemporary person, right, whose consciousness kind of got like put into this weird existence. So he would think about things from very contemporary person's perspective and figuring out like what he can do with the magical setting of that world, with the contemporary person's knowledge. So it gets like very funny. Like, for example, like he used the editing magic, right, to manipulate reality because everybody in that Xiuxian world has never seen a movie. Like, that was like, never saw that come. Because that's an angle that really hasn't been done, I think, in idol fantasy dramas ever. But it's really clever. And he doesn't have to have magic. He doesn't have to do anything. He just manipulates like camera angles, right? And then everybody believes what he's saying because nobody actually have really seen it. So all those type of things are just really fun. It's oddly fun. And very different from typical xianxiang drama of 苦大仇深 leads who have like all the burden of the whole universe on them. These are like people who are like ants and they're just trying to walk around human footsteps, stepping on their head, right? And it's just really cute and funny. So if you want a very relaxed, not gonna burden you in any way, and overall gonna entertain you, very light, and you're not gonna think it's the best drama, but you probably are not gonna hate it, kind of entertainment drama right now, I would say the Youku Pull Strings ongoing right now probably is your best choice. Yes, it's Auri Peng's leading drama with Sun Zhenni, Ai Mi. It does have Yu Yi, and it has a couple of other like familiar like frequenters of Chinese drama land. I really like the recent episodes of the Heavenly Emperor, like how he is made up. He showed up like a human, right? He has no magic power because he's on the Bear Island and his powers are all gone. And it's just like he wants to be an artist, and he gave up like his role of Heavenly Emperor because he's too tired. And his reason is like, I do all that heavy lifting and people hate me. I don't do it, people hate me. I do it very hard, people still hate me. Nobody really like whatever I do, right? I work hard, work my ass off, and people still complaining about things. Since it's always gonna be, I will get like, complained about whether I work hard or not, then I will just not work anymore. I'll go out and be an artist and go on exile and on my own and just like do not care about all my jobs. Like, he's such a funny guy, and I actually really like their this sort of period of like Heavenly Emperor on vacation part, and the actor actually plays it really well. The actor really makes it, like, sells it. they picked a really suitable actor for that role that makes it convincing. There are just so many cute things in this drama that you totally don't expect. They definitely know all the memes, all the things like traditionally that gets like done in this genre, and they intend to completely like overthrow it like, most of the time. So it's like smaller moments of like making you laugh all the times happening. Every turn of a plot or sort of exchange between characters are slightly unexpected. where the direction is going is not what you usually see in idol fantasy dramas. It's always picking another choices that you never see coming, and it's fun. And it's not like the greatest well made in terms of visual, in terms of like any camera, any of that. It's like there are far better looking fantasy idol dramas in Chinese dramaland for sure, like years ago. But really, it's the character and the script and what happens, right? It makes the drama. I think, okay, didn't see that one. So, if you want an easy, happy, lighthearted fun, I think you can take a look. Pull strings is pretty interesting. It's very unexpected, like in most of the ways. You will watch it and you'll discover that yourself. I'm not gonna say too much about it, but it's kind of like I expected when I watched the trailer. I was like, oh, this is going down that kind of like comedy route of not taking it too seriously, and it did, and it's actually pretty close to what I imagined it to be. It's entertaining. It's entertaining, and Our Peng actually is not doing a bad job. I think surprisingly, I think he performed exceeding my expectation. Not like in this drama specifically, but more like over the years since he first showed up years ago till now where he is. Surprisingly, I think he's one of those actors who are actually putting some work into his professional career. He's not completely just enjoying being a traffic and having fans, and he's not completely spending all his energy and time doing that. He's actually working on himself being an actor. Like you can see him improve over the years. His line delivery has also improved greatly. One of the sort of like greatest improvement I've seen, because early days he was bad. He was like pretty much at the level of Wang Hedi, even worse, if I haven't remembered wrong. Because many years ago, I remember he's like Mandarin and line delivery was it's like a mess. It's like epic mess. If I haven't remembered it wrong, right? Because I have like a strong impression of him, like hearing him speaking, I'm like, oh my god, that Mandarin needs to get sorted. That was so bad. Can you actually have such bad Mandarin growing up at your age? Because what I know is the younger you are, the better the Mandarin you have, because as you grow up, right, the sort of better trained students go back to become teachers and bring up the next generation. So basically in China, if you're born after like say in late 90s and early 2000s, your Mandarin will be far better than people who were born in the 80s, far better. Like overall, if you are in regions where Mandarin is not the first kind of like dialect. So I was like, you young people should not have such bad Mandarins, right? Like that happens to my generation and my generation above, but not you guys. And it was bad. But now, even though his Mandarin, like line delivery, you can still pick, like his dictation is still not perfect, not clean enough. Often it still needs work, he needs polishing. If I were like dubbing director, I would change a lot of the lines he's spoken and ask him to redo it. But the thing is, it's at least listenable. It's like, it's passable. It's okay Mandarin and okay performance. And most of the time it works. Occasionally a couple of words gets jumbled up and then not working quite well. You can clean it up. You can, like perfecting it. But in idol dramaland, for actors who do it themselves, he's actually already not like at the bottom league, right? He's already okay enough. So he's done work, at least, over the years. He's improved, if not anything. Like, those things were actually done by himself. Nobody can do it for him. Whereas there are other actors that over years and years who refuse to improve on their line delivery at all. I'm not gonna name them, but you know who they are, guys and girls. Like everybody knows who these people are, right? It's like they never improve like even 1 inch. 1 inch. So in comparison, I think our opponent in that just gives me a much better impression compared to a lot of other young traffic actors. At least he cares about his profession to a level, right? Unlike a lot of other people who don't give a shit. They're just in there for the fame, the money, the attention, the spotlight on them. Like they don't want to put in any work. And they're just standing there, 站着茅坑不拉屎. Occupying the toilet and not poop. Yeah, that's what it means. Give it a try. I mean, you can give postering a try. Just warn you, it's not the greatest quality idol fantasy, right? You're not gonna get like greatest. Sometimes the lighting looks fake. It's clearly studio shot. Sort of on the production standard level, it's nothing too grand. It's mostly in the characters and in the ridiculous settings of things that makes it funny. What else? I took a look at Gold, Remnant of Gold. So that's wuxia, based on Gulong, and it's a short drama, I think. It's only aired 4 or 5 episodes, I think. Yesterday was like at 4 or 5. Can't remember. It's on Tencent. iQIYI also has it, I think. It's led by Chen Kun, Yin Fang, Xin Zhilei, Gao Weiguang. Gao Weiguang's character came out like later. Ming Dynasty setting, early Ming, about in this desert region, 河西走廊 of Northwest. So pretty much like Where Winds Meet Games, like the 3rd chapter, where it's located. And it's supposedly there's the legend of there were a huge amount of gold that's hidden in this corridor that was left by whoever. And then like a lot of people try to find the gold. So it's about different group of people having their different reasons and stuff. Trying to get the gold. I've watched, I think, until episode 4. It's kind of hard to say what Remnant of Gold is. I'd say the first episode is actually really boring. It's supposed to set up the story, right? Set up the leading characters, make you know like what's going on. Yet it's actually very scattered, no focus. You don't know what the story is trying to do. You don't know who you should focus on. Like you don't even know who's the lead actor. It's like everybody just like show up, and it's very vague and or like disorganized, whatever that word is. First episode, I almost quit the drama after the first episode because I found it's just so unfocused. I don't know what it's trying to do. I think until Xin Zhilei's character shows up, and when she's had encounters with Yin Fang and Chen Kun's character, that it starts to have, okay, I see where you're trying to go. Like now we see the main characters and like kind of like what's gonna be the main focus of the story. But I just don't understand why the story needs to happen in this way. It needs to introduce the most sort of gripping and a kind of relationship right from the beginning so that the audiences know, okay, this is what we're going in for the story, and now keep telling me what's... You can do other things later. Somehow they started the first episode and make it completely boring. Like the first episode of Remnant Gold is so boring that I almost quit the drama like multiple times during that 40 minutes. It was excruciating. It wasn't until like Xin Zhilei shows up and then you kind of like, okay, see like your story starts to focus. But it's a bad decision. It's a short drama. You only have like, 12 episodes, and like why you start it in that way is very confusing. And it's pretty much as I expected because the person who's behind this project, right, is this guy who cannot tell stories. There are a couple of directors who are really bad at telling stories. There are a couple of directors who are very stably okay at telling stories in Chinese drama. And over the years, after you watch their work, you kind of know, right? So Xu Bier, this guy, plus like Cao Dun, who's really good at camera work, right? These couple of directors are the directors who are like warning. Like I see their name, my brain is like warning. It's not gonna be a good story because they can't tell stories. They don't know how to tell stories. These people are not storytellers. So kind of prove that too for Remnant of Gold. It's not bad, but you need to have patience to get in the story. And even by this point, I've watched like 4 episodes. I don't necessarily feel an urge to find out what happens later. I know like where they're going and what the story is about now. But I'm like, why should I care? So for that 武侠 drama, that short drama with all the stars, Chen Kun, Xin Zhilei, Gao Weiguang, Yin Fang, don't have a very high hope on it. If you want to hop in, you can jump in and just be warned that it may be very boring and slow and you have no idea what they're doing, like when it starts in the first episode. That's Remnant of Gold, the wuxia drama, that I've watched 4 episodes, and that's my kind of opinion on it. 12 Letters. 12 Letters is overall like one of the better dramas in recent years. Yes, it's not like the best ending for things, but then at least you wouldn't feel like it's a waste of your time. Early Spring, I haven't tried. Like if people have tried, you can tell other people, help them out. I haven't had time. It's like too many things I need to watch at the same time. My brain is almost like all mixed up with different things. I will go and take a look at it. Personally, right, I am not a huge fan of Jin Boran. It's just me. I watch him performance. I always feel like he's gonna break out crying, like he's about to cry in every second for some reason, and it feels very stressful just waiting for him to burst into tears. It's good. I have no idea. I'll have to see. Maybe they really go together. Okay. But for Chinese contemporary romance, I have very little confidence. That's how I would put it. I have very little confidence. It has nothing to do with actors. It's just the genre overall is I cannot imagine how good work can come out of this genre of Chinese drama making, literally, because it's just so, it's either boring or shallow or stupid. Like covering a couple of those like either that, right? Like it's very hard to find anything that's actually good in this genre. This genre is very, very bad right now. I haven't seen a good contemporary romance for ages now. It's worse than like Idol, period, really. So I would have very high hope for it. I would try and go in and check it out if it's good. I think it's one of the things his eyes are very like red, misty. Like kind of like the veins were very, very obvious. He always had like red corner eyes and always as if he's about to cry. Yeah, his eyes are very, like his eyes are very not focused and clear. You know who's got a very clear eyes? The post-string actor who played the Heavenly Emperor. That guy, he's not a good look, like most good looking guy in either drama, I know, but he has very sparkling, very like high, sort of like you feel like high voltage, like piercing, sharp, like reflecting, very clean eyes, like clear eyes that has like the white and the black, very sort of like separated and shooting light at you. Very, very sparkling, very like reflective and picking out light. In comparison, right, Jin Boran has eyes that has like mists. It's like it doesn't want to reflect light. It's very misty and red in that way. Makes you feel like he's always crying. It's clear comparison. Yeah, I don't really quite like people who have like those very misty eyes. So the gold, Remnant of Gold, we just talked about that. Next one will be Trembling of Cicada. If anybody's watching it, it's actually longer than I thought. I thought it's gonna be shorter, but anyway, it's the crime drama that's been airing, I think, on 2 platforms at the same time, iQIYI and Tencent or something. It's the Wu Zhenyu, Zhong Chuxi, Zheng Yunlong, contemporary. It's not crime, it's more like a drama. It's basically people who are in the legal business, right? The leading character, female, she's a lawyer. Wu Zhenyu's character is a judge. Zheng Yunlong's character, he'll come later. Like, he's not in the first 2 episodes ish thing. And they have complicated kind of relationship and who's the daddy of whom and whatever. And it's high drama. It's a lot. I don't know what to say about this drama. Trembling of Cicada. I feel it is very forced in all the character setup. Everybody has so much baggage, and it's like so much trauma in their past, and it's so like cranked up, and they just run into each other and create more mess. I'm like, again, like low possibility run into low possibility, run into low possibility multiplies. Suddenly this thing becomes not so believable, and I feel it is very intentionally cranked up to the level. For example, female lead, she's a lawyer, and she's very triggered by certain things because her father was accused of murder that she knows he didn't do, right? As a kid, she knows that, but it affected all her life growing up, and she always tries to right the wrongs and stuff, and it heavily impacts like how she looks at certain, for example, client they have, like they're trying to be their lawyer and court cases and stuff. It starts with one of the cases that she really goes out of the way to help her defendant, but couldn't succeed at it, and it's a lot of baggage. Like, she's really traumatized, and she's constantly dealing with her sort of like PTSD, I'd say, since childhood. And the whole story, like right from the beginning, she's like not in the best state of things. And she's the female lead. And you run into Wu Zhenyu, who is the judge that she's gonna run into in her case. And this guy is also like the level of mess he's in, right? First, he's like on early stage of Alzheimer. Second, he's got also like a huge psychological like black hole because his own son has committed a crime and also died because other people revenged on him, and all the mess that happened. And so he like sees vision of his dead son like in the smoke and stuff. I'm like, okay. Another over-the-top kind of like traumatized person. Then you have like Zheng Yunlong's character, and later you'll find out he's got like very traumatized past too, relating to his girlfriend and stuff. I'm like, come on, people. As the story progresses, I'm only at like Zheng Yunlong just showing up, but I'm already seeing all the signals and all the signs of future epic shitty stuff that's gonna unfold. I'm like, like the writers sat down and tried to find what is the most over-the-top person, like character setup I can think of. This type of character in contemporary Chinese setting that's not gonna not happen. Like there's no way that it happens in reality because China has this law, this thing that it never happens. We wiggle out of like the sort of like reality's limit and find out what's the most trauma like that these people can suffer before they even got into the story. That still makes like legal and logical sense, and then like, put them together in a contemporary drama. And just crank it up and see how it burns, right? Like Trembling of Cicada. Even though I've only watched the first couple of episodes, I already smell it coming. I smell it coming a miles away. I'm like, I know where you're going, okay? And you're gonna so try to amplify that with the acting, with the performance, with the use of camera, with how you decide to, like, there are a lot of extreme close-up on female lead where she's have no makeup, she's got like, you can see her freckles, and she's like looking at a camera, you know, like a breaking the fourth wall, kind of looking cool, like a very indie movie. Like, I don't know what they're trying to do, but I'm like, I know, I smell it, you're trying to do that type of drama. I'm like, at the end of the day, I can tell you what, I don't believe anything that happens in this story because it could not happen to that level. Like, by people who take it so seriously in China. You know, there are ridiculous cases that happen in China. Like in reality, like there are documentary of certain things that just like breaks your understanding of the real world. But usually they happen in such ridiculous ways. It almost is like the people who are involved in it are unaware of how ridiculous it is. And they're not self-aware and self-conscious about it. And it's almost like the whole thing is a weird incident of universe. And it has that level of people actually not being taking it too seriously and make things end up looking so bad. Reality, usually when it have extreme cases, they have it in this very blunt, awkward, unorganized, and unrefined way. Whereas this type of drama is so refined, so calculated, so perfectly angled, and you're gonna put a camera here, capture this actor from this angle because that it's like maximum whatever, and it feels so forced. Like the ridiculous nature that multiplies each other made into a drama that is so polished. It lacks that bluntness and stupidness of reality. And even though you can say in reality, very ridiculous cases happen probably over the top than what you see in dramas, yes. But it doesn't happen in the drama's polished way. And the drama polishes it to the point where you just don't believe it. It's like everybody has like read their script and they're just trying to play it out, that kind of feeling. Anyway, I watched a few episodes of Trembling of Cicada. I'm not saying it's bad. It's actually, the performances over the leads are not bad. It's just like, I watch that, I'm like, oh, it's another like those type of like baiting drama, you know, like it tries to it tries to validate its kind of over the top plot by making the characters so like you know, like they're so unfortunate, like so many bad things happen to them, right? That's why they get to this point. We should feel pity for them. But I'm like, they're fake. You wrote them, right? Like I don't have to pay attention to them, right? Like they could just not exist in my perception of the world completely. Why should I go and look for trouble to look at this type of like over the top, cranked up things? Anyway, it's actually not a badly shot, badly performed drama. These actors are actually doing a good enough job. It's just like I smell this sense of this over, like the eagerness to over dramatize things and picking the most extreme versions of everything and trying to crank it up, like all put it together. I'm like, I know what I'm in for if I keep watching, right? It's gonna go that route. And what do I really want to witness? Like the 20 episodes journey of getting there? I'm like, maybe not. Jilman, I've watched a bit and gave up on it. I gave up on it. Jilman, okay, let me be honest. The problem with Jilman is first, I'm not into the whole IP, and also all the tomb thing, the Zhang family legend thing, like the long IP this drama has, right? Overall, I'm never really interested in it. The only drama I appreciated in this whole franchise would be Ultimate Note. That's because the drama itself kind of like deserves it, not really necessarily the IP. I'm not interested in it. It's just me. The second thing is, my honest opinion, Chen Weiting and Zeng Shunxi, their acting doesn't do anything. Non-functional, zero output, present on screen, but that's about it. Acting they can provide. I mean, Chen Weiting has always been like that. I mean, everybody knows, right? Like, he's just there. And he's just gonna look cool and there. He looks like that in every shot he is in, right? Like, I've never expected acting from him anyway, but like in Jilman, he's just there. Chen Weiting is just there. Zeng Shunxi is just there. I don't know. Like, I mean, once Zeng Shunxi, when he was in Ultimate Note, I could see like, you know, like there's like chemistry he's got with other actors, and then like stuff with like, but that only occasionally, very occasionally happens in his dramas. There are a couple of dramas he's done that I was like, okay, he's kind of like in the zone of like getting the character, right? Most of the time he's just there. looking at you with his like puppy eyes. I don't know. He's among the traffic actors, right? He's not the troublemaker. He's not the type of people who really creates a lot of like waves. But also he's I don't dislike him, but I find in terms of performance and being an actor, providing that level of entertainment and value, he really rarely gives me any of that. He's just not annoying, right? Zheng Xuanxi to me is not annoying. That's it. But he doesn't provide anything. I'm like, wow, I'm really happy to see that. Like I never, ever, ever get it from him. As for Chen Weiting, I don't know. He's maybe better. I don't know. Like to me, he's like they can just do a 3D model and just put him in the scene. It will work exactly the same. They don't need him actually being there. They can just scan his face and his whole body and just like digitally recreate him in every shot and just make the AI do the mouth and use his voice or use the dubbing actor's voice who always dubs him. It'll be fine. Nobody can tell the difference. That's Chen Weiting. He always has been that. You know, one thing I'll give is super stable over the decades. So Jiumen, I actually have. Hello, Grossman. Sorry, I'm gonna hear noises. And leaf blower, I think. Love in the Closet. I didn't even watch it. That's like sorry. I didn't even bother to click it open. You know, like if it's a like fantasy idol drama-ish thing, that's led by Zheng Xuanxi. If he's the male lead, then it has to be the female lead I'm so interested in that I would go and watch. I would never watch it because he is in it. To me, he's not annoying. That's all he is, right? But I would not even bother to click it over. Like to me, he has no. To a straight woman, he has to me no male attractiveness in any way that would pull me into drama, even just to look at like the face or the ab, you know, that level, even that level is like does not exist, zero. It's like to me he's just eyes, very big eyed person who's not annoying, right? Like that's what he feels to me. So for me to motivate me to check a drama where he's leading it without any other sort of like attractive element of the drama is very hard. One of the greatest one that he is in that I highly appreciate was 我可能遇见了救星, which is the contemporary drama where he led with Liang Jie. But that drama is not because his great performance, like he's okay. It's the script, the characters were really well written for a contemporary romantic drama. In Chinese dramaland, it's a rare breed of dramas that actually, it's like, this is really well written. Didn't expect this coming from a Chinese drama. I mean, like, and he's actually selling it pretty well as the male lead. That's the one with Liang Jie. You know, that's the best one. Like, I have the best impression of him as an actor in that drama. 我可能遇见了救星. If you haven't watched, it's been a while out there, but I think you should go and try. If you haven't, it's pretty good contemporary drama. I think it's from Mango, and it's him and Liang Jie. Can't remember the English title. If anyone remembers, you can type it out. Chinese title literally means I might have run into my savior. That's the direct translation. But the English title is a different one, I think. And it's a pretty interesting contemporary drama. So, you know, like right now, all the dramas that are going on, right? I think I've talked about everything I've watched. I still have Tumblr, I haven't checked. I still have Early Spring, I haven't checked right now. I'm actually watching that many dramas while dealing with 2 counts of games. Holy shit, how did I survive this? Oh yeah, High Venus. Yeah, High Venus. Yes, that's the... If you want to watch a pretty good contemporary romantic drama where people are actually very sane and they have like appreciative characters and personalities as humans that qualifies them as leading characters, and you care about what happens to them, I would suggest you check out High Venus. Lotus Casebook is okay, but I still think if you are saying like in kind of adventure, kind of fighting dramas where Zheng Xuanxi is leading it, I still think Ultimate Note is better. And then Lotus Casebook. The Day of Becoming You. The Day of Becoming You is not like between Zhang Xincheng, right, and Liang Jie, right? Like they swapped their body, their soul. Yeah, that's the. I was talking about Zheng Xuanxi, right? Awaken. Yeah, Awaken I haven't checked. I should. Oh my god, there's so many. Anybody tried Awaken? Is it good? The thing is, it's Oh Hao and Na Zha, and I feel very under motivated to check it out. Of the spy drama. Oh Hao and Na Zha, and yes, Liang Jie is in it. There are a couple of more people, like I've talked about last week, right? It just aired. The problem for me is like, for me it's just really hard to go and check out the drama because I I think about Na Zha and I'm like, oh my god, I don't want to watch her performance. I know it's gonna be pain. Is it good? Anybody? Let me. Oh, Liang Jie is good, probably. I mean, she never really is too bad in dramas, even though in dramas that are ridiculous and shitty. It's very hard to say she's done too many like not good enough things. If the script is too bad, it's not like it's up to her to save it. She can, but like for example, that ridiculous drama that's a remake of the Descendant of the Sun, right? The Chinese version where she leads it with Chen Zheyuan. I mean, the drama itself is too ridiculous that no matter who got picked, and it's not gonna save the drama anyway. Chen Zheyuan also acted in such a weird way that I can't watch it. But in that drama, Liang Jie actually, as an actress, she's not doing it too badly. It's just like what she's written as is ridiculous. So she's type of like she's type of the actress usually is 戏烂人不烂, right? It's like even the drama is shitty, or her performance and her as an actress doesn't really gets like criticized for her end of work. Usually it's like that. Yeah, Forged Injustice is pretty painful, you know, like when you watch it, right? It's like, whoa, 80s, not a good time. And it's true, and it actually already is quite mild and tuned down. The reality of that period was even worse, right? But like in Forged Injustice, as it moves on, right, it will get like more and more also like mellow. In the point, like it tries to make it too dramatic to pull people's attention that at the end of the day doesn't necessarily serve the drama that well. I do think like as it gets to later parts, some of the plot is a little bit over the top. Road to Splendor. I talked about it earlier. Liang Jie needs more opportunity. Who doesn't, right? Everybody needs more project and opportunity. The fact is, even the top tier actors are not getting any offers these days. Nothing gets made. Imagine, right? 70 to 80% drop of amount of stuff that gets made in a year's time. You've got to be like tier 1 to even get an opportunity to actually have enough stuff coming your way. Not to mention, like, you know, like anybody, like even if tier 1, it doesn't guarantee you. Like there are very well-known, very popular actors who haven't got like any work for like a year, like hundreds of days. So Liang Jie, she's never top tier. She probably has like a tier 3, tier 2, right? Like imagine what's gonna sieve through and fall to their laps. It would be even less stuff, even like they can do. No, don't we have it? Ask Zhong Yangguang. I think they're poor. They're doing not very well. Most of the production companies are doing not very well. And to run a 50 episodes period drama of that scale right now for Zhonghu Yangguang would be like suicide. They can't finance it. And if it doesn't perform anyway close to what they expect, right? And after like you have to invest ahead like a year or two, who knows what's gonna happen to the market 2 years later? It's a 50 episodes period drama. Holy shit. These days nobody has patience for like 30 episodes. What are you gonna do with that? So right now the whole industry has gotten to this very unhealthy state where I don't think it makes sense for Zhonghu to make it now. They don't have the ability to make it now. It's not like 10 years ago. Hmm. 小芳 is that the Wang Yinglu one? I haven't watched it. I know it's Wang Yinglu and Xing Yunlai, right? 小芳出家. It's finished, it's short, it's contemporary. I'm pretty sure Wang Yinglu does a good job because she's an actress who can actually explode. Like, she has the energy. Like, you feel Wang Yinglu is the type of actress who, if needed, right, she can suddenly kind of like create a big explosion. In story. Like, she has that energy. She can hold it and then explode it. There are people who are gonna like very hard to imagine them letting out a huge amount of energy. Wang Yinglu definitely can do that. But Xing Yunlai, the problem for me not to watch Xiaofeng was it's just Xiaofeng it's a little bit too much requirement on my end to get ready and to get assaulted by Xing Yunlai's performance. I often watch his dramas. I feel like I get tortured. He hasn't really done a good job in anything I've watched him in, and I just feel like it's too. Maybe I should give it a try. There are too many dramas. Oh my god. Oh, Born with Warriors. If it's good, no, that's good. I haven't watched it. It's again another one that I haven't tried. 冰从风中来吧. Oh How, right? Oh How. Not so long ago. I think a month ago the drama came out. That particular type of drama usually is not my cup of tea. My parents probably like it. I haven't really watched it. But if it's good, I can give it a try, for sure. It's just, things keep coming, like pile up on top of each other. All the things I haven't watched are like getting rolled off. It's kind of a never-ending stream of... But next year, it's going to be a lot less, I'm pretty sure. That's a consolation. Because there aren't going to be that many dramas coming out next year. Because not so many are made this year. We're going to get fewer and fewer. 赵露思 these days. I tell you, it's going to be a miracle for her to show up in Dramaland again. First is Dramaland right now is so bad, right? Even the top tier having no problem actors are not getting jobs, right? It's not going to be like her immediately, anybody thinking of her, giving her an offer. Considering all the liabilities that might come with it. So, if the having no problem top tier people are not getting work, then it's not going to be immediately getting her anything. The second is, the problem with her is she's too volatile. And from an investment point of view, if you're a producer, you're going to put like tens of millions, even sometimes hundreds of millions into a project. You're not going to know. Like during the shooting, after the shooting, before it airs, even after it airs, right? If she's going to explode in any way uncontrollably, like a bomb, right? Ticking bomb, like may destroy your whole investment that you put like years of time and money in. Why then would you even want to consider picking her? Right, you would much rather pick somebody who is much more reliable, at least based on the track record, never have done anything that may cause like potential damage to your money. It's just a very sort of like normal business people's thinking of we try to avoid any type of risks, particularly the risks you see that could very well happen. If it's completely hidden and it landmine you, then you're unfortunate. But if you know it might be a problem, then it just doesn't make sense for anyone to not try to like get around it. Problem with Zhao Lusi is during the whole thing that happened right at the end of 24, right, and 25, 26, like in the last 2 years, all the things that has happened. would make every investor think twice and like before they even decide to, okay, we're gonna pick her, because they're like, we have other choices, right? Like that may be much safer. The problem is she's done it to the point where it kind of completely tanked her reliability. And at the end of the day, all those things are there to make money. If you have high potential of actually not getting them money and actually giving them a loss, nobody is gonna be that stupid too. Like nobody has anything against their own money, really. So no matter who you are, right? Like that's the situation. Her situation is nobody dare, nobody dare to risk their own money for her. Like unless they are her diehard fan and they'd rather their own empire burn down than like not giving her stuff. You know, only that. But how rare would that be? So, and I think the problem with her and her like previous contract with the Ali owned company actually is much more complicated than what people are let known. It has let's just say people who are involved in that whole thing, they know what they're in for, right? It's kind of a high management level battle between people within that company that was set up like originally, like it's Ali's money, Alibaba's money. But in terms of it, like the people who are involved, including Jalous and the person who actually basically made her famous, they and then that company, like all the mess that actually happens within the company that are about all the higher management, different groups of people like trying to like get hold of the control, and how they have a sort of like at the end of the day they couldn't really sit down and have a good conversation and get the problem solved. Therefore it went to the internet and got to that level. But pretty much everybody involved in this thing actually knows it from the beginning. Okay, nobody has actually got lied to or cheated into that thing. It's more like within a company, different groups of people are trying to get the best cut of things and biggest cut of things, and it didn't happen in the prettiest way, right? That would be what actually happened. The whole thing where she's trying to break with her previous company, it is much more like complicated, and then like he's the good guy, that's the bad guy, and she's the victim. It's just not that. But it didn't go the way they hoped it would go in terms of Jalous and the other person involved. But you know, like it already happened. You cannot turn back hand of time, and it's just gonna. Right now, it's just in this mess situation. So yeah, entertainment business. It's not news. This type of thing happens everywhere all the time. Like if you look at Hollywood, it happens all the time too. These are the ongoing Chinese dramas and the ones I have been watching. I have to say, generally, they're nothing really stand out to make me feel, oh my god, I'm so happy it exists, right? I'm like, oh my god, this is so great. I will remember it for the years to come. Like, I would still say, even till today, right? The thing, if I think about Chinese dramas in the last year or so, that has left the strongest impression to me. The one that greatest entertained me is still A Dream Within a Dream. The one I highly appreciated is The Heart, and The Heart 2, right? The Heart 2. Couple of small surprises that make me feel, wow, you know, like they can do this like 12 letters and men's inhumanity against men. Like that drama is OP. Those are probably that. But in terms of like high entertainment value and like made me really happy and I had fun, like just fun, right? Nothing else, just fun, would be still A Dream Within a Dream. Like that's the highest amount of like concentrated dose of fun I've had. And it's been more than a year. Ever since then, there hasn't been a thing that can replace its position in my mind in terms of like being highly entertaining. In the last year. How sad. Yeah, in reality show, but reality show, right, is not actors' really battleground. They can't live on reality shows. A lot of people are pretty nice on reality. I mean, I feel Gong Jun, right? He's pretty nice on reality shows, but when he's in dramas, it's like his acting's not working. He can't do the professional job properly. So there's some people who look okay in reality shows, but then once they got into dramas where it's their actual job, they just don't. It just doesn't work. Mobius is pretty nice. Yeah, Mobius proves Bai Jingting should give up on playing heartthrob. He should focus on playing plot heavy characters instead of like characters. Yeah, it's overall also pretty good drama. But I still say entertainment value, right? Like make me really happy drama. Those dramas are like for that period of time, okay, I enjoyed it, it's pretty nice, but I quickly leave it behind and I wouldn't really rethink about it until people mention. Like for someone mention Mobius, I'm like, oh yeah, that's not bad. But like if you don't mention it, I'll not immediately automatically think about it. It has something to do also with the drama that is overall quite short. So it only exists like for a week or two in your life and then moves on. It doesn't leave such a long time related impression. Meng Ziyi's problem is she's every drama she's in, she looks the same. Her characters is the same. She's all dubbed and it's very repetitive. You don't know who's who. And she is so fascinating and so like dead set on playing this type of big female lead who's super spec in every direction. She's the prettiest, she's the cleverest, she has the highest birth, she's like morally morally perfect, although actually she does questionable things in the story most of the time, but then hey, she's female lead, so everybody loves her. She's most beloved, she's the most valuable, she always is right, she always wins, like she always outsmart other people. Think about all the characters Meng Ziyi has played in the last few years. She always looks the same, she always has gigantic like eyes and huge lip makeup and white face, super skinny, like with like she's dubbed in the same way. Wei Ren, right, is how people call it on CN, which I think is very accurate. Which is doesn't look like a real person. She's Wei is something that's counterfeit or fake or not real, right, or pretended to be something. It's like you can't get to her. She doesn't feel like a real person in drama. So she feels like a perfectly painted goddess on the wall. That's like flat and perfect. Every strand of hair is perfect. But then like there's no live energy coming from. It's dead. It's like a silk flower. It doesn't breathe. It's not living. Like all her characters are like that. She's got all the tags on her. She's the princess. She's the crown princess. She's the daughter of whatever duke, right? She's like super powerful, super pretty, super clever, super right, super good. Like everything, like the whole world revolves around her. All her stories are like that, and I'm like, I can't even tell the difference between this one and that one. I'm in my brain, they're all mixed up together. Yeah. Her upcoming one is like that, right? The 将门毒后 is like that. She has another one before 将门毒后, I think, is also similar to this. I'm like, oh, with Li Yunrui that hasn't aired, right? Is it 上公主? She has a princess one with Li Yunrui. Then she has the empress one with Wang Hedi. Hello. Oh, thank you for your super chat. CLP62. Like for Meng Ziyi, is like everything is the same. If you've watched enough of her dramas, I feel like in your head you're gonna mix all of them up and they're all one person, like at the same face and like in the perfect way, just looking at you with those gigantic blank eyes. If you change the color grading, it becomes a horror movie. And put some BGM in the background, right? She becomes a horror movie character because she's so perfect, gigantic eyes and just hollowly looking at you. And as for someone who said she's so skinny, well, isn't that for every freaking traffic actress? Like, can you tell me like who's not skinny? I mean, there are a couple who's not super skinny, but they are actually already skinny. It's just they haven't gotten to the point where they look like anorexic, right? But they're skinny. Every one of them is skinny. It's just like who looks even more unhealthy than who. And some people are naturally built in a way where they look more hollow in terms of when they dress, right? It feels like the clothes are all empty. And some people are built in a way like even when they're skinny, they don't show that much. They still have like thickness. It has a lot to do with your bone structure, like how your rib cage is set up, the angles of like all the ribs, like it causes you to look too thin or not too thin. But overall, everybody is actually super skinny in Chinese drama. It's just some people show it more, like looking like they're too skinny. Some people like have bigger face, even when they're very skinny on body, they still look like they have a full face, like Deng Wenxi, for example, in Road to Splendor. She's super skinny too, but her face is like big enough to make you, when you're always looking at close up, you don't think she's super skinny, but she is. Or like Zhao Jingmai, right? She's got a rounder face, so you don't think she's super skinny, but she's super skinny. And there's Meng Ziyi, who is, because she's got a thinner face, like a longer, thinner face, so she always will show that skinniness more. But they're all super, super skinny to the point that it doesn't make sense for human to survive with that weight. Chinese actresses, ugh. But the worst part of the like being underweight, like super underweight, is Korean pop. K-pop girls in recent years have gone crazy. They have all gone crazy. In terms of how low the body weight gets, like people are all under 40K. They're all under 40 kilos. Everyone. It's like they're in their 70s, 60s kilos as full-grown female of a reasonable height. That's K-pop. And I'm like, how can people even walk normally when they're like in that way? You're gonna get blown over by wind. If you fall, you're literally gonna break your own bones or like crash your own knees because there's no fat padding anything, like you're bone on ground literally instantly. And K-pop is getting it so over the top now. It's insane. Zhou Yi abetting her upcoming work with Xu Kai. Why? Who of these two actually can properly act in period dramas? Xu Kai sometimes actually worked in contemporary dramas. Zhou Yi also sometimes worked in contemporary projects, but in period projects, never really quite properly worked really well, unless it's absolutely out of the whack genre. I mean, Xu Kai worked really okay in Once Upon a Time, There's a Spirit Sword Mountain, but because that's not a typical male lead drama. It's an insane out of whack drama where nobody needs to play it seriously. Therefore, it suddenly worked. In terms of traditionally proper, like the traditional idol period dramas, Zhou Yi and Xu Kai. You need a miracle for that to have a chemistry. You need a miracle. Trust me. You need a miracle. Directors. There aren't that many Zheng Qingjie. Yeah, Hollywood actresses. Yeah. They're insane. Also, like the Hollywood actresses are so, and also I think they're doing something to their face, right? There isn't that popular to actually take out this fat pad around the cheek here to make. Everybody's going for that look, which is like baffling to humans, to our normal humans. Really? I cannot control if there's ad on live stream. That can happen. That's interesting. The mouse, I haven't. I don't know what is that. Yeah, this whole cheek thing is really odd. It's really odd. It's like people they're not happy with contour anymore. They want to have permanent contour on their face. 周也, that drama with Tan Jianci, the funny thing, I never could quite believe that drama is, I know in real life Zhou Ye cannot sing, right? She's completely out of tune. She's tone deaf, like Gong Jun, pretty much. They're in that sense a really interesting pair of brother and sister. So when I see like Zhou Ye being playing a voice actress who's really good at singing, it just makes me laugh. I couldn't believe it, because at least in that drama, you can say Tan Jianci can pull it off as a voice actor and singer because he can do it. In real life, it's him doing it. So there's nothing really that makes you not believe in it. But you see Zhou Ye, like have you ever seen her, like, listen to her singing, right? Hear her singing voice. And immediately just destroys the drama's made up world. I couldn't take it seriously because, because I'm from the days of Word of Honor. I've watched that concert like too many times. I know what she sounds like when she sings, and I just never could believe that drama. The drama kind of just like one part of the drama that makes me really hard to get in is I can't believe it. One of those things. Well, skinny actor trying to pull off general roles, but also you have to say that general roles in idol dramas are highly, like, they're not realistic. Never supposed to be. For this genre, 谈恋爱 is the most important thing, right? Like, the love story, the romance is the story. Whether this guy is a prince, an emperor, a scholar, a general, or even a butcher, does not matter. The fact that they are the male lead of an idol drama, they just need to look like a male lead of an idol drama instead of their profession. And nobody really, within this in the genre of people watching these dramas, nobody expected it to be real. I mean, whoever if you think about like an actual whatever emperor in reality, they probably are like not attractive at all as a person. But then you have to find a young and hot actor to play it because that's idol drama, right? So if you're playing a super like serious historical, and this is a real historical general who's fought like a million battles and won, and famous for holding a huge saber on a horse and cutting people off, like chopping people down like grasses, then obviously you should cast somebody who at least looked the part. Right, and I have no problem with that too. I think that's the proper way. But if you're saying it's an idol period drama, then like all the tags are she's a princess or she's a butcher's daughter or whoever. It's just the story setup. It's still like two pretty young people falling in love, and that's what you're going in for, right? If you need serious stuff, go to the other door and pick the other thing. You're not coming into idol period dramas for historical kind of like accuracy. And it's kind of silly to ask everything to be real, like define what real, and who has the ability to put the definition, say this is real, that is not real. Historically, then there are people who are famous for being a general, but who is also known to be pretty, right? Who'd be too pretty to be actually a general. They do exist in history too. So when you are trying to cast, if you're playing that role, who are you gonna pick? What is real? And also historical figures, honestly speaking, it's all written down in words, right? You can kind of guess, but you never know for sure. It's like, it's written like that, but who knows? They may not be looking like that at all. It might be just people later who wrote whatever they want. Who knows? Do you have any interest? In books? Not quite sure what that means. He was dressed up as a princess and escaped and going to war. Yeah, they're pretty people who are also very good at fighting too. Historically in China, there are a couple who's very well recorded as super pretty. It's like Jon Snow. Yeah, and realistically, for all the grown men in Chinese ancient time, you've got to have beard. You can't be like no. It's like there's a saying: if you have no hair on your mouth, then what you say is not trustworthy, right? That's a traditional. So for all the adult men, once you're grown beyond like a normal teenager, once you go beyond that age, everybody has beard. So technically speaking, all the pretty men, even in idol dramas, should be all having beard, mustache, beard. Yeah, imagine that in idol dramas, right? In period dramas. No actors would even like, they will refuse. They will refuse to have it. Yeah. And I find that like every time Zhang Yinghe's drama come out, there's just so much like attack on him being like the pretty, call him foundation general, foundation whatever. I'm like, everybody is like that. It's not just him, right? If you want to attack everyone, why? Just single him out. I find it's really odd. It's like all the male actors in idol drama, and everybody has like a tons of makeup on their face. Anyway, who's there not having makeup? Like, pick one for me. It's like, it's not like the actors can actually go shoot the drama without makeup, right? Even the director would not agree. It's like, what are you talking about? I think he's not a great actor for sure, okay? But like saying like it's all his fault, it's like, no, it's the whole industry. The whole industry set up this genre. This genre has its standard where everybody just looks like that, right? They even get like the standards of like skin smoothing anyway. Any actors, whether you like it or not, when you're doing those type of dramas, you're gonna look like that anyway. And until you have like climbed to the top and you actually can decide whatever, like you invest money into your own drama, so you can do whatever. You can either wear makeup or not wear makeup, and nobody can say anything about that. And then obviously you can do it. But before you get there, it's like actors don't really have that much of a choice. You know, it just has to happen. And they just all put it on him. I'm like, then what about Chen Zheyuan? He's played plenty of generals with like this level of makeup and this level of skin smoothing, okay? What about all the other, like Cheng Lei, right? Let's just pick all the male actors out, like in recent years, who's played a general. Each and every one of them are like that. Anyway, it's like industry standard. And it's like, it's funny, like they just want to go after Zhang Yinghe. I don't know, he may just have this, like, I don't know, like, chart of people just don't want to let him go. Although I don't appreciate him as an actor, because I don't think he can act really. He's much better like as a like a model for like two-dimensional photo shoots. But I don't think he deserved the amount of hate and everybody just like all fire on him. It's so weird. Why don't they fire on the other people? They're just as bad. If you say that is bad, right? Yeah, I mean, female generals, yeah. Because actresses will never put on weight for anything, trust me. It's in idol dramaland, right? They would not want to do it. Historically, there are a couple of really interesting female generals in Chinese history who are, guess what? Abnormally tall and strong. They're all very big, and that's why they can command like a huge army and wear like 40-kilo armor and not be crushed by it. One of the most famous of Ming Dynasty female generals. She's known, I think, to be close to today's standard, like 190. So similar as tall as like Zhang Yinghe. Close enough, I think. As tall as Zhang Yinghe or Liu Yuning. In reality, as a girl, right? And then super size, very, very big, strong. And when she wears armor, really nobody can tell she's a girl. Everybody thinks she's a big guy. And that's why she can be actually fighting on horses and just spear people into like meat patty. That did exist in history. Very rare, but you know, it's well recorded, right? That's like female general who can actually command an army, because she's bigger than most of the men anyway. Yeah. Ming Dynasty has very famous. I think she deserves a drama, but the problem is it's gonna be very difficult to find an actress who can actually play her in reality, because imagine finding a woman that tall is already very hard, and find her who can act. Like, where are you gonna find it? You know, even for Game of Thrones, right? There's only one Brienne of right, the female knight, right, who's super tall and big. There's only one of her. It's even gonna be really hard to find that in, like, say, Western or like Caucasian people or Scandinavian. Maybe you can find tall enough woman, but like you still have to have big build, right? It'd be very hard to do that. So let alone like Chinese, these days it's gonna be tough to find a huge woman to play it. So that's the reason why it doesn't get made into dramas, because you can't find a person. It doesn't happen that often. Yang Xingwen, technically speaking, he is also too thin and too small build, right? He's still, if he really wants to be an act general, his shoulder needs to go a lot wider, right, and thicker. His body, he's very thin. All those guys are too skinny. Zhang Minghe is super skinny. Liu Yinning is super skinny. Gong Jun is super skinny too. Like, you think about all the guys, right? Everybody, even though they like they're gym bros, they're always like doing this. They're like, there's no fat on them. They have like zero fat. Every one of them probably is like a bodybuilder level of like body fat, even less than that. They're just not muscle that much, but they're super skinny. It actually doesn't look good. You find like for everybody, there's a sweet spot of their body weight. Is when they're at that body weight, they look the prettiest. Once they go below that, they start to look like aging, right? And then sallow. And then their face lose the proportion, the ideal proportion. Because even if you just lose a little bit fat of your face, like the proportion to the width of your mouth, to the width of your eyes, how sunken the bone structure becomes, will change drastically. If you're already looking perfect, if you get any thinner, you start to go out of proportion. Your face becomes too small, and it loses that sort of like perfect proportional beauty. And for most of the actors these days, they're too skinny actually. Gong Jun actually looked better when he was playing Wen Kexing than now, mostly because now he's actually thinner than when he was Wen Kexing back then. You can see like the face, right? The fat on his face. He's got less now, and it doesn't look as good. A couple of other actors also has the problem. I think Zhang Linghe also, because he's too skinny, his eyes already, because his eyes naturally were a little bit close to each other in terms of proportion, right? The space between his eyes are very narrow compared to the whole face proportion. If he gets any skinnier, it goes out of proportion more, and it makes the eyes look even closer. It just doesn't look as good. And right now is too thin. He doesn't look as good as he could be. For most of the people, right, they're kind of like too thin for their ideal beauty level. And for actresses, it's even worse. It makes them look, particularly for people who naturally have a not very small head, like Zhao Jingmai. When she's like bigger, at least the proportion looks better. Now she's so skinny, she literally looks like 大头娃娃, right? She's like wearing a like one of those helmet thing. Her head looks way too big for her shoulder and her body. She feels like she's gonna tip over. Like the proportion of her body just looks too not good. And then it's just really like Zhang Zifeng, for example. She also has the overall round face, structurally speaking, not a long face. And when she has such a tiny, skinny, thin body, right, it just feels like you feel like she's not gonna have a center of gravity, right? You're gonna tip over all the time. It doesn't look good. But it's just such a bad thing for actresses these days. It's just everyone just needs to be skinnier and skinnier and skinnier and more skinny. It's so thick. Like people are just crazy about that, and I don't understand. Like, why? Is it because you think that makes it more pretty? But clearly not. It actually doesn't make you look good. Even when they're wearing layers and layers of period drama costumes, right? They look like they're hollow. And I don't know who think that looks good on camera. It doesn't look good on camera. Maiden Homes, yeah. That was before he's famous, right? And then his wigs are weird in that drama. His wigs doesn't look good in that drama. But that's one of his early dramas. And that's when he had a lot of like young collagen and like flesh padding his face. Now he's just way too skinny. Oh, 张若昀. In the first Joy of Life, you believe he can take down all those old guys because he actually looks strong. Like he's got enough fat on him, like muscle on him to like beat up the people. In the second Joy of Life, you're feeling maybe you can't because like they can just and you're gonna flip over. That's Zhang Ruoyun in the two Joy of Life. I actually prefer him in the first one, although he's not as pretty because he's not as skinny, so he's got like a little bit chubby kind of face and kind of the waist is a little bit wide. But actually he looks like he has energy, right? He can come and chop people down, and you can believe he has all the energy to run around the capital and every day to make a mess, to make his plan like work. He's got the fat and he's got the energy stock to do it. And in the second Joy of Life is yeah, well, you know, like you almost died and then when you wake up you lost like 30 pounds. That's the only way you can explain it. Intelligent, yeah, but it doesn't help anything of acting, right? He can be very good at math, okay, fine, right? So what? Like it doesn't translate to being a good actor at all. Like these two things are completely unrelated. And also, like you can say he has a very good logical brain. Okay, he understands things very quickly, fast. Somehow it doesn't translate to that he can understand characters or he can work characters. He understands how to build a character. It's a different type of intelligence that has nothing to do with whether you're good at math, right? And I know he's very good. Like in all the variety shows, he's always the person who's doing all the math. Yeah, but unfortunately it doesn't help acting at all. Yeah, it's a highly competitive and highly insecure industry, and people have really odd beliefs in it. 白宇 and 罗晋. What do you mean? Like define his acting mean. Yeah. There was a time when it wasn't a thing. There was a time when the so-called idol actors of the era, the popular ones, weren't like so skinny, and nobody had a problem with it. Nobody thought it's not pretty. Somehow now, I think it's just so many things. Like for example, like you have filters. Everybody can touch up their own photos to perfect skin, no wrinkles, no acne, no spots, no discoloration. Perfect proportion, gigantic eyes, perfect skin color, whatever you want. Is super skinny. Everybody can do that to the level where they no longer accustomed to what reality looks like, right? I mean, think about the 50s, 60s when you see like whatever posters or photos of celebrities and stuff. They have like tummies. They have like no perfect, like they have like the fat underarm. They have like those like what's the name for it? The type of fat on your butt that like it looks like an orange peel, right? Like it, I forgot the word. It starts with cellulose something. Like you have those photos out and people are fine because everybody looks like that. I'm like, that's just normal human. Now it's like because everything gets touched up and everything is perfect. It's like perfect ass that looks like a peach, right? Shaped. The waistline, the perfect skin, right? Like face. To the point, like people are silhouette. Yeah, people are completely detached from reality. they're exposed to wrong information that are not reality at all. It's all being touched up. So they just require human to, without using touch up, to have to look like that too, because otherwise it's wrong. But it's not. But then these actors, right? They can't do anything about that. That's just like the general. So they have to do this to fit that idea of only this is beautiful. Ancient beauty standard is hard to say because they don't. Ancient time, there's no photograph, so they can just say it. They can do paintings, but paintings are not really like Western after Renaissance kind of like realistic portrait painting in that way. Very few exist in Chinese history. So paintings are not that reliable because they don't actually really paint what you really look like in real life. Then there's only words. I mean, what do you mean exactly? But like, when you say you like pale skin, how pale? Like pale to what level then be considered as pretty? You don't have a card that you can go in history and compare to the person's skin tone to now. It's like, okay, this level of pale is enough. Nobody knows. The ancient standard is only written in words, and you can only guess, what it might look like, but you never are sure of it. And that's the problem. And it changes with time too. Every era has different standard of beauty anyway. Look at some ancient Chinese makeup, it's ridiculous. You compare to currently what people do, we're too conservative. I mean, if you look at ancient Chinese people's paint, if it really is like painting, right, on like the walls and historical paintings, everybody every day when they have time, the people who have makeup, they literally is like every day is Halloween. Every day is Halloween. Like that level of makeup is beyond our understanding of beauty, but that was the thing. There was those like odd looking eyebrows, like the dots on the face, right? Color dots, right? It's like green, yellow, black. People put like really odd like things on their face, and they think that's beautiful. I mean, even think about Japan, right? There was a period of a time where they have to dye their teeth black, and they consider that to be beautiful. I'm like, contemporary people, it's like, why? What? Huh? It's so confusing. But that's beauty standard. It's like every time like something gets popular, it doesn't explain why, it just happens. Obviously, it doesn't point out real historical, like a daily life, because it's harder to write, and nobody wants to see it. And there's no sort of high romance to sell in it. Romance are much easier to sell. If you're gonna go into a period drama that talks about specifically, for example, how to develop farming equipment of Song Dynasty, for example, because it's actually important, right? If you don't have the best farming equipment, you don't have the best yield, you have only that much land, people are gonna starve. And you can do a story that's about one person who invented the greatest whatever plow in the history of Chinese history. Nobody's gonna care about it, right? Unless like you're such a good story writer. It actually is a story of a lot more things than just inventing the plow. But that requires you being a really great writer. And it's not gonna be, I write it in 3 months. You probably have to do research for like 5 years to get to that point. And then who's gonna invest money into making this drama? Where first, like, who are gonna cast, right? And second is, if a good actor can play this role, probably they're not the popular actor. If they're a popular actor, they can play this role. But then if you want a story to be loyal to your script, then you probably have to cast somebody who's really good actor but who's not popular, and then they're playing a character who's doing this like story that nobody cares about, or at least there's no known market. So you make it and it doesn't make money, so nobody makes it. Yeah, you know what I mean? In an ideal world, obviously. So there could be a possibility of actually having really great ideas, and then when AI got to the point where it can do anything and everything, right? And you have, for example, you are a private person who's not a company maker. You're so interested in one topic. It's like, who invented the greatest plow? And you wrote a story about that, and it's so well researched in everything, and you ask AI to make a drama for you at relatively very low cost, right? and it could exist in the form of media, right? Then the other thing is you can make this, it could be the greatest thing, but now because 40,000 dramas are made every month in AI form in China on one app, how are you gonna make people see it? Like who is gonna notice it? Like where do people even find it? Right? So it goes to it's like, okay, shit, right? Shit, we're in the situation again. It's like, now I can make it. I have a great idea. It's low budget. I can even get it done. But now who's going to watch it? Because nobody can get to it. AI dramas in no time is going to be so like convincing that you probably can tell if it's AI or fake, a real human or not. It will get there, and it will get there sooner than you think. But then the question would be, everybody then can make it. So who should you watch? Again, it goes to the problem of there are too many. Which one should you watch? Which one comes out on top? Oh yeah. Yeah, the insanity amount of, because AI dramas can be very short, right? They can be a couple of episodes. So it's very quick to make them. And if you go on like Red Fruit in China, you just scroll, like 80% of that are all AI. And you never get to the end of it. And you can scroll for a whole day and your fingers can start twitching and you still haven't seen like 10% of what they have. I think AI actually, I would prefer AI to do, I don't know, like things that are not necessarily live action. I don't need a human like to be made like, what if like it's like cute cartoonish thing, but it's hard for people to make them in Rhino or in Blender, like frame breath frame. But then you can give them a designed character and they can manipulate it easier in the sort of animation form. So you can do one model and put it in and say, this is the model that needs to look like this, and I now need to have a scene that is this bird jumping to that river. Like that, I think is pretty reasonable for like private story makers, right? That makes it like they can put out their content easier. For example, if somebody, like Lucas the spider person, right? Somebody who has a huge channel or already have some presence on internet, they want to venture into telling stories in a forum that AI can help them greatly to get it down much cheaper and easier. That could be a use for it. And then, some kind of like fan-made content that's fun. I mean, I have no problem with AI making all the videos of Uncle Chen and Uncle Jiang. Although sometimes they look weird. It's not well made, but sometimes they're very well made and they're very, very adorable. Sorry. Like, for example, like imagine a few years ago, we couldn't do this, right? Like back in the days of Word of Honor, we don't have the perfect ending. We want the perfect ending of the drama. Back then, fans cannot do anything because we don't have of your story for animators. No, it's not necessarily, I don't think it necessarily really is gonna be a bad thing. Because think about using AI as like brainstorming and quickly testing out whether the ideas works, right? And see the potentials of certain design ideas. I think it's very useful. You don't have to just use it to do everything for you. But for example, you have an idea, you want to see what it like quickly visualizes it and gets like really easily put out instead of like putting 3 weeks just to do a test and see it doesn't work. AI is really useful for that. I wouldn't refuse to use it, but in terms of actually doing the animation, at the end of the day, right, it needs to be finely tuned every frame to actually express the exact thing the animator wanted it to be. And if AI cannot get to that level, you can't use it still. It's like still not going to be as good as you hand tune it. Imagine, okay, so like how many years ago? 6 years ago, 5 years ago, back in the days of Word of Honor, right? When we didn't have that ending, but we had AI. The fans can make that like 3 minutes, the perfect ending we want. And then look close enough to be these two. And they're gonna be angry probably. The drama is gonna accuse you of like using copyright. But in it for fandoms, right? It would be so great. Because like a friend of mine, she's still making her own version of Guardian that's following the book and using the different stuff that she gets from other dramas of the actors. One thing she ran into problems is the lines in the original book is never spoken by the two actors in the drama that you've heard. Now with AI, she actually found somebody who's very good at tuning AI and asked that person to do the lines in the original Guardian book spoken by Zhao Yunlan and Shen Wei in Baiyu and Zhu Yilong's voice. And this, like, she showed it to me. I'm like, wow, it sounds like they were talking. It like sounds like it's spoken out of them. And for fan content, it is just like, you know, like it's unimaginable that it could happen a few years ago. But now, for people to have that, is great for fan content. Obviously, you can talk about copyright, but if you don't get any actual monetary return in that, you just like, you know, like, 为爱发电. I think nobody can really accuse you of that. And I was really impressed by because I know a couple of like classic lines from Guardian, right, that never showed up in the drama and never were spoken by Baiyu and Zhu Yilong, but the AI made them speak like the same voice speak those lines. I'm like, okay, wow. Like 9 years ago, right? 8 years ago, it wasn't possible. It was completely out of reach. And these days, these things can happen. So it could work in ways that could really be helpful in certain situations. But is it gonna get misused? Oh, for sure. Okay, everybody's gonna. The first thing is crime is gonna so overuse this, right? With all the, for example, I'm a YouTuber. My face is on internet. My voice is on internet. Everybody can fake me. They can get my face and fake a digital version of me speaking in my voice completely, to the point that's so real that you can't tell if it's me or not. Easy. A lot of fraud are done in that way. So, which is, I would highly recommend everyone these days, right? Have a code, a very complicated code poem or word set up with your, for example, your closest family member, like your husband, your wife, your children, your parents, your grandparents. And if anytime anyone shows up as you in video form, whatever, right, that you can't see the real person in real life, talking about like getting money or getting anything, like calling you with video phone call, right? If at any time it touches like important things, like your personal information or money, you ask them if they know the code, like exact code. Not make it one word, it's too simple. Make it a whole poem, like 4 lines. You have to recite it exact. If you make any mistake, I know you're not the real person. I highly recommend everyone set that up with the people you have like closest relationships with. Do that now if you haven't done it, because I've done it with my parents. We have a code, like really ridiculous code poem that nobody could possibly make up and think of. And I'm like every time, right? If there's anything that is like me asking money from you guys, right? Say the poem, say the first line. And if I cannot recite the next 4 lines, I'm the fake person. And once you've used it once, you have to change it. Just remember, if it ever happened, all right? Just make sure. Do it if you haven't done it. Because I've told that to my mother. I'm like, remember, okay? You have to remember this. Like, ask, and I'll ask too. Like, if I see them, I'm like, I'm gonna ask that poem. If they cannot recite it, they're the fake ones. Very important. If you don't take anything away from this live stream, remember this one thing, right? Do it if you haven't done it. Think about it. Leave a note on your book and go home and think about how to do this. And don't ever talk about it over internet. Talk to the person in face. It's like, we need to set this up like in the same room, like now. Password in real life needed. Yeah, we have gone off very, very off topic of Chinese dramas. I'll go to 12 and then we'll call it. Whatever people want to ask. Post-stream flopped? Really? Why? I didn't? It's pretty fun. We can talk about games in the last hour. Anybody who's paid attention to recent like game releases, like or trailers, interested in things coming up? Post-string is pretty fun. It's not the greatest thing out there, but it's fun. I enjoyed it. It's ridiculous. It's the laziest Xiuxian you've ever seen. When the lead is like, I don't want to do anything, I just want to get away, please leave me alone. The least sort of like hardworking male lead who has like 10 contingency plans. Like he has the plan A, but then he has like up to plan K. Like it's like, if this one doesn't work, we have that one, we have that one, we have that one. I'll make sure that you know, like, it's just super safe. I find, yeah, gaming is a lot more interesting in dramas. Dramas are too bad these days. And if you want to say like good storytelling, right? Some games have better storytelling than dramas 10 times over. It's just unfortunate. But that's the thing. A lot of like those like these game makers, they're actually from video industry previously. Particularly the ones on copywriting, story writing, right? They probably are from movie making stuff industry, and so they know actually how it works. Wuxia dramas, hard to make, too expensive to make. You know, like it's completely like people are running out of like choreographers. There are not many good ones, and also actors who can actually fight. Surprise! It takes like decades to train one. FMV games. What is that? I don't know the shortened version. I'm really bad at gaming. If I stream, I'm gonna get like, I know like game streamers, and then their audiences are pretty intense. I'm not like that type of people. I can't do it. Phantom Blade, yes. Phantom Blade comes out at the end of October, right? GTA's leak is pretty fun. Going on right now is pretty epic. Yeah, it's like he went up to heaven and realized it's Chu Chuang. It's entrepreneur. It's like only just starting to build. Like, what? and it's so funny, like that setting of like heaven is only just being built. For the GameCom that has just happened, there are just quite a few Chinese games that look great. Tides of Annihilation, probably when it comes out, I'll try, although it probably is not gonna happen until next or the year after. Finally, I see the update on Showa American Story. And I'm so excited for it. They didn't say when, but it's actually possible by the end of this year that may come out. And I can't wait. It will be the most memed game in history. It's like so many ridiculous things set up in the game. For people who grew up like at my age, right? You'll be in Asia, particularly. You'll be very exposed to Japanese culture, and it would be so funny to see this weird alternative universe version of America. The U.S. is colonized by Japan. And Hollywood becomes Neo Yokohama. I'm like, oh my god, I can't wait. I can't wait to see like American people in Americanized Japanese hot spring soaking the Chinese version of hot pot. I mean, so far the game has gone like quite crazy with its test like stuff going on. I really look forward to that game. Oh, Rex, hi, Rex is here. Anyone who's looking forward to that one, I highly look forward to it, because I think it's gonna be ridiculous. I just can't wait for all the ridiculous things that happens in that game. with like Statue of Liberty in kimono. I'm like, wow, can't wait to see that. It has so much like imagination, right? It's just a like breath of fresh air in a kind of everything looks similar game industry. I really want that game that hasn't gotten any news this year, that was being slowly developed. It is like an axometric view of a Chinese ancient city called Bustling World, where you seem to be able to do anything and everything. I really look forward to that game, but it hasn't had any news anytime recent, like in recent times. What else? Black Myth Zhongke is gonna take years. It's probably not gonna come out until 28, 29. You're like looking at that, so too early to tell, but it's gonna be great by then. By then my computer might be too old. I hope by then hardware are not as will be like it will not be as expensive as it is now. Oh hi. Oh, I see my guild people. Heck, well, everyone is here. Hi. There are a lot of Where Winds Meet guild people right now in chat. Yeah, Where Winds Meet, obviously. I saw the Lord of Mysteries, right? That got launched a few days ago. It's another big IP that got adapted into MMO game from CN, from China. Because I never play MMO, I have no idea what it is, right? And I took a look at people's screen recording of what that game looks like. I'm like, oh, wow. They literally like 1,000 people battle, they have that. And it's a whole screen of names, because you can't see anything anymore. It's just all people and all names. I'm like, how are you supposed to play that? Like, how do you know who you're hitting? If you have 1,000 people in one shot, like, how do you even do that? Like, what are you gonna... How do you play it? I looked at it, I got very, very shocked about, okay, that's how it works. Okay. I'd rather not know that kind of gaming. It looks overwhelming. Because in Where Winds Meet, they limit it, right? The maximum is like 30 people versus 30 people in the fight. You cannot get bigger than that. You never can. So, although it's still crazy, it's manageable, but 1,000 people fighting, I'm like, how does the server even think through that in real time? How? And who are you fighting? If you have 1,000 people are there, like, are you fighting each other? Are you fighting one target or fighting groups? Like, how does it work? It's insane. But I know it's big and it's been criticized a lot on CN, but then it's getting the recent attraction for the first week. Maybe later it will cool down, I don't know. So for gaming, there's a lot happening. Overall, I think it's more interesting in Dramaland. Particularly like the real-time drama of GTA being leaked, right? And they're still trying to find the guy, the leak guy. Where he is, what he has, and the game still has how many? 1, 2, 3 months? Like less than 3 months to go before it gets released. But it's already creating enough problem for the company in a very over-the-top way. Yeah, everybody who's not playing the game and not in the guild are gonna be very like, they're gonna look at it. What is going on in the chat? We're just gonna talk about games for a bit and then we'll call it. Because Chinese dramas are overall very boring and disappointing. This is nothing to talk about. 大侠立志传. I have no idea what is that. It sounds like a really slightly stupid name. But it might be fun. I know a couple of based on wuxia drama games that are being made, like Swords of not this one. There's the Jingyong wuxia one that's being made. There's a Yuan Gong Jie, which is literally the ape sword. That's a female lead character in the game. And then obviously you have the other Swords of Legend. Swords of Legend may come out next year. Who knows? But this year they've released a very big playthrough video and it looks actually quite good. And also it has really great music. It has the typical wuxia drama music of Gujian vibe. I really like that one music, and it's only in the test play that happened about a month ago. That's not anywhere online, in terms of having actually an album. But I don't know if it's gonna have copyright problem. Let's try to see if it actually plays out. This is just so 古剑 vibe. If you've played like 古剑 before, right? This new one is very much in its kind of style of always having this kind of music style, and this is the new game's one music from it. Although we don't know where it's gonna actually be in the final one, but it's really good. This type of like immediately reminds you of like a lot of classic Chinese wuxia dramas you've watched, and it's all flute. This one is flute, di and xiao mostly. The backtrack is in the game, like there's human singing and all the orchestra in the back, but the flute is played by two flute players. Actually, they recorded this on their own, so hopefully it has no copyright problems because it's their own version cover. And city building game, I'm not actually very into city building. I like the only city building I've played last year is the City to Town, the Mosaic one, City to Town. It's very adorable. It's very, very adorable. If you haven't tried it, it's on Steam. You can give it a try. And it's just adorable. But I haven't played it for a while because there was a time when the game had like really bad, some bugs. I keep crashing. I keep like fall out of the game. And it keep crashing, and I send them reports. I try to figure out what happened, but I couldn't figure out what it's like with my computer with that game. So I didn't like. I kind of gave up on it. But during the time I was playing it, it's really, really adorable. If you haven't tried, I highly recommend it. Get homestead to level. I get to level 10 already. Yeah, but now it's the time to dismantle the broccolis. Anyone who plays Werewolf Meat. Chaos of your job. Ah, oh, thank you. Kind of that's the biggest function of me on internet. Is to 话聊. If you know the joke of the pun in Chinese, 话聊. 话is basically speech or whatever you say. The stuff you say. And 聊, here it's 话聊. 聊天 is meaning chat. So 话聊 is basically talk and chat. but it sounds exactly like the word in Chinese. That is the cancer treatment, like what's the chemotherapy? Yes. So it sounds exactly like the Chinese word 化疗, which is 化学疗法, which is like chemical treatment, right? So that's Chinese version of chemotherapy. And but then, you know, like when you say 化疗, here it means talk and chat, and it's like a chatting therapy, right? Eventually I become a chatting therapist on internet. Builders. Yeah, if anyone like looking at the chat, people chatting in my chat, if you're not playing the game, right, there is a possibility of building stuff in Where Winds Meet, but in very painful ways. It's not as seems at the end of the day, so they don't develop that system too well, and it makes it a pain to build anything. Thank you for coming. At the end of this live stream, it's all my Where Winds Meet guild people. Hi. Look at all the chats that happened, like the 10-20 before your line. It's all Where Winds Meet guild people talking about the game. I find game is a lot more interesting these days than dramas, unfortunately. I have the feeling like NetEase, when they do 烟云十六声, the people who write copies for this game, right, for Where Winds Meet, some of them probably previously were from like film schools, from like script writers, like proper script writers, and then they just couldn't find work, and then they got too pissed by the industry, so they went to write for games. I just have the feeling that some of that are people, because they definitely know filmmaking. Like you can tell the story setup and how they shoot the cutscenes are very cinema aware of like how they're doing it. So it's probably from like some kind of movie making or filmmaking or television making people who just couldn't work in the industry anymore, so they got to film, like got to gaming. Okay, it's almost what? Still, just wait for another 9 minutes. We'll get to the midday clock strike 12, where I am, and it'll be done. Awkward silence time. Anything interesting happening? CN Chinese server just released yesterday, I think, the next gacha. And also, and if you haven't tried, my fellow gamer, if you haven't tried the Reflection Temple, give it a try of the mild version. See if it's ridiculous. Because I couldn't, because I happened to run into a just thrill version. Hi. Melody Kitty. I happen to do that. I happen to do the thrill on both servers, so I finished them. Therefore, I cannot go back. It cannot redo it. So I have no idea if the global mild version is the same as Chinese mild version. I just am so curious to know. If you haven't tried, give it a try of the mild version. If you don't like it, you can quit halfway and then just switch it to thriller, I think. But I'm curious to see if they do the same thing, because I noticed at the end of this event, like when you finish everything, you leave the temple, they do a different thing on CN and on Global. Global has one that has much shorter ending, couple of lines, and it's gone. Chinese ending has a full child singing song at the end that's sung through the whole thing. It's done differently. So I'm curious to see, like, did they basically design two different versions for Global and Chinese server, and if so, like, what's the difference? And do they tailor it to specific internet culture? Because the Chinese version, the mild version, is so funny. So the mild version on CN, when you go to the scary part where the kids are gonna come out at you, you are gonna start to hear the BGM turn up, and it's an AI made song of ridiculous music and lines. It's almost like those bad short video BGM that is singing, come back, back, and you're singing, you think I'm stupid, I'm not gonna come back, and it's just that stupid song playing, so to reduce the horror atmosphere. Also, every time there's a jump scare before, it will jump a 前锋高能, which is a live comment common in Chinese internet culture where it's like ahead of you, there's some high energy thing, be careful. So it's a 前锋高能. And then when there's on screen, there's gonna be scary stuff, you will have a full screen of live comment covering it, and it all says live comment protection. So it makes it funny. Instead of scary and horror and like a ghost festival horror event, it makes it funny. If you play it on CN, it has the mild version, which I'll play it and I'll make you all of you laugh so much because the music is so funny. But I don't know if it's on global, because I think a live comment culture is not so common in, like, you know, like for example English speaking countries compared to Chinese or Japanese kind of culture place. So maybe they change it, or maybe they don't give that. If you haven't tried, try the mild version and see what happens. I'll show you the music. And it has like live comment. Because in the beginning you hear the kids speaking behind you, calling you, come back, come back. If you turn back, you'll die. So later when you go in, right, and you'll hear the song. Like in the song, there's a child singing 回来回来, right, come back, come back, and then the other voice is singing, I don't come back, I wouldn't turn back, you think I'm stupid, right? That's the song, and it's been done in a stupid way with live comment rushing across the screen, and it's it's so funny. It makes the horror game suddenly a comedy game. The thing is, I couldn't try it because on global. Like I've done it on both. I didn't know. I would have tried it at least one mild, one thorough version on both server, but I'm done. I can't do it. I could try it on my alt account probably, but if you haven't tried, like give it a try. See the global version, what it's like. Thorough version, but you have to run very fast if you don't look back. All right, because the kid will get to you. 回来回来 It's like saying come back, come back. 我不回 I don't come back, I don't back. You think I'm stupid. That's what's being sung in the ridiculous AI generated song. Yeah. You have to break them to see how you die, right? Like that's the whole point. And also their promo video on global and CN are completely different. On global, it is the typical kind of like scary movie where jump scares and stuff, and it's done. On CN, it's really cool. A couple of years ago, you know, there is a short animation collection on Bilibili called 中国奇谭, right? That's sort of strange stories of China, and it's made of like 10 or 9, I can't remember, short 10 minutes animation. And a couple of things got made out of that. One of the highly claimed one among those 10 short videos is one called 书生. It's like whatever, the scholar who looks like he's permanently black-eyed, and it's all done by like pencil shading, like he's walking in the mountain and being like running to by a fox. So they asked that team to do an animation promo for this. It's completely drawn by that team, and it's completely different from what you get on global, and it's really cool. And I think they know these people are not well known. In like globally, so they didn't put it out on global, but it is on CM version, and I'm trying to find like a version where I could. Because yesterday I found it, but because I think it's on their official account somewhere, promotional. It's a really well done animation. Where can I find it? Because yesterday I watched it, but like, so now I can't find it. Where is it? 中元节宣传动画照影前身 yes. So if you go and check on YouTube, I think there is a global version, but this is like the Chinese version. It looks completely different. It's in animation, like in this style. It's hand drawn, I think. This team. Because my my focus is very, very off right now. Okay, pull it up. It's in this style. It's only, I think, in China, the global doesn't have this. So this is the they asked that animation team to do this for them. If you watch the 中国奇谭, the 10 animation from 23, I think you probably have a memory of what it looks like. It's totally different, right? From the global version where it's just a couple of flash of jump scares and stuff. Yeah, it's very suitable for 中元节. Yeah, they have very nice because is it 狐狸书生? Let me think. 中国奇谭. If you haven't watched it, I would recommend you to watch this one episode. It's it came out at the end of 23. It has that's the first season. It had multiple episodes. This is the second episode, and it's in it's called Goose Goose Goose, I think. Like it's in this style. It's completely like drawn by hand. So it got famous because of this, and they got this team to do their promo, and it's actually a really suitable style. Random question, okay. Any drums that has strange cases or strange tales of something similar set in time list, any reasons why they choose a particular time period? Interesting. Because I think one reason is from Tang, 志怪 becomes really popular. So this type of novel called 志怪 zhi is any type of record. For example, 地方志 would be local record of something, right? If you have a 地方志 book, it means it records whatever happens in this city or this town. Like when for example, the river goes like here, and one day it runs into flood, and this year or that year had this weather, that year had this thing. So 志 is like a record. 怪 is strange. So 志怪 novel are like, they started to get really popular in Tang Dynasty. Before that, it wasn't really a thing, like a genre of writing. But from Tang onwards, this type of like monsters, ghosts, things like anything. It's like a table can turn into, you know, whatever, walking around and having magical things, and a tree or a fox. This type of adventure and kind of like a little bit thriller and then a little bit like weird things, right? Stories started to get really, really popular from Tang. So one of the reasons probably to set it in Tang Dynasty is it has that kind of already literature base and cultural base. Tang would also be a really interesting period where you have city dwellings, right? And so you can have a lot of things like big cities that has things happening, plus a mingle of multiple cultures, not just the Chinese kind of Taoism, but imported but already very well established Buddhism at the time. Also, Confucius teaching is like overall the general sort of fabric, but you have like a lot of foreign culture and religion that got into China at the time, including the I think from Middle East, what's the name for it? The type of like religion that worships fire, right? Or versions of Christianity, like, but it's called a different name at the time. And so you can have all types of like race of people, culture, and religion of people just all smashed together. One of the reasons why, right, you can easily make up stories. Later, you wouldn't have that much of a mingled situation in history. So that probably is one of the reasons they really like to pick Tang. And then the closer it to now, it feels like it's more realistic or more established or more like recorded, that it's harder to imagine stories, right? The further away, it becomes easier. But then it can't be too far away where the thing you're talking about never even existed at that point of time. So you have to find the sweet spot of, historically, you can refer to, at this period of time, people already believe in these things. But it's far away enough that you can imagine wild things and nobody can really say it never happened. I think that's why Tang is like a perfect period to have it. Because the song's impression in sort of current Chinese people's mind is it's highly famous for its city commerce, its Wenren culture, so the scholars' culture gets to its epitome of like during Song Dynasty in terms of their social status, but also their presence in court, calligraphy, painting, literature, right? It kind of got to its kind of peak time for scholars, and therefore it's kind of like odd, it's too kind of like in the writing canon of things instead of like having it like a wild imaginary land of ghosts and monsters. So Song Dynasty doesn't really necessarily gets depicted too much in that type of genre. It's kind of it's getting too close. And afterwards you have Ming, and like Yuan Dynasty is too short and it's Mongolian occupied time. And then you get to Ming, which is too close to now, too real. You have too many things that you can literally go and watch and look, right? The things are still here today. The buildings and the city walls and stuff. So it becomes too real to have too wild an imagination, I think. Liao Jia is our Qing dynasty, right? Liao Jia are so close to now. It's like within 100 to 200 years time. Strange Tales, yeah, it's running out of steam because it's they're farming it too much. Strange Tales. Okay, 5 more minutes and I'll be gone. I should leave and let everybody have their life. And mine too. Yeah, so where means meet players. If you haven't tried that one, give it a try of the mild. I'm just curious. But if you don't have time, don't worry. Because I do have an alt account. I just never play on it. I wonder if I don't log in right for a month and log in, would it compensate me with a sudden drop of core? Because sometimes that happens. It's like if you don't log in for too long, right? They want to get you back, so they give you easy core. I've seen that happening to people, but depending on if you're that lucky. And also it'd be awkward if you get a core, right, on your alt account you don't play. Then what do you do? It's like, okay, but I can exchange it for things, but I never would even use it. The core is only useful if it's on the account you play. If you never even check in, right? Like, then why? Like, having it is like nobody can see it. On CN, I set one up, a male one that I played actually up to level 50 or something, 40, 50, because I had to do the skin thing, and he needs to get out of Qinghe. Wow, you got water weapon on second account. Wow, I don't have energy to do 2 accounts on global because I have an account on CN already. I'm doing 2 already. Second, no more, can't do. It would be crazy. And I would have to sign up to completely separate accounts. It's too much work. You can give outfits. I mean, core outfit I don't think you can give. You can give the pearl ones, right? Like the ones you purchase with money. You can send that to other people, but I don't think you can send cores to other people. I don't think. No, well, if you signed up under the same account, like me, I have an alt account that's basically signed up under the same account. When you switch, you can only play one at one time. You can't log on to 2 at the same time. So it's kind of pointless. If you want an actual alt account, then you have to have first 2, like either one on PC, one on iPad or something, or 2 different PCs, and they have to be 2 totally different accounts. It has to sign up to a different NetEase account, for example. It has to get like totally just a different set of it's just too much work switching between. Can you take someone else's core? I don't think you can. 2 accounts on 1 PC, so you have to log off completely and log into a different one, right? You can't you can't simultaneously run it unless you run like one on NetEase launcher and one on Steam at the same time of the game. Is that gonna burn? Oh my god! So you have to install 2 versions. I mean, I'm already like crazy to install 2 versions. One is the Chinese version, one is the global version, but it's 2, right? How big is your hard drive? Limitless space. That is too intense. That is too gamer. I can't do it. I don't have that much space either. I need to leave some space for actually editing stuff. Returning players. I have no idea. I need to check. Wow, everybody's so intense. Oh, okay. For people who come later to watch his live stream, they'll get very confused about it becoming a private chat of my guild. All talking about games at the end of this. I should get going. For anyone who's still watching who's not from my guild, sorry about all the intensive like game chatting that has nothing to do with Chinese dramas. But like I said, Chinese dramas are so disappointing these days that maybe I just have to switch because there will be nothing left to talk about Chinese drama. And next year will be particularly bad. We shall see 27 what's gonna happen. That will be 10 years anniversary of my channel. It would be ironic if by 10 years there's like nothing to talk about in Chinese drama land. Imagine that. Imagine that. That would be epic. Okay, that should be the end of this. Please take care. I'll see you in my Saturday video. Yes. thank you for your time too. Like, listen to me talk about most of the time nonsense. Please take care. I'll see you in my next video. And